I've had a cough for like a week. No, like a cough and a cold for like a week and a half now. No, it's not coronavirus, so nobody should make any foolish jokes here. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. If you are a loyal subscriber, welcome too. Today's my mom's birthday. Happy birthday to my mom. So that's why I'm kind of all decked out with my necklace, my earrings, and all that good stuff. And I also like popped into the mall and I bought these slippers that I think are so cute. On the one hand, I think they're so cute, and on the other hand, I feel like they look like somebody's auntie slippers. You know those aunties that when you see their slippers outside your house, outside your door, you know Auntie Amebo has come. And I also got this little turban from the hair store because I don't always like to show off my red hair, and I don't like to wear wigs all the time. So I got this little turban. I don't know, I think I got it for like $2. Can't remember. And then I got the slippers for $30. Anyways, so that is not why we are here. We are here because we want to discuss, and by we I mean me, racism in Canada, and I'm going to share my personal experience with racism. So I think I feel like a lot of people think Canada is this fantasy land. And you know what? I can only speak for the city I live in, which is Toronto. So I'm not going to speak for Canada as a whole. Like, there are a bunch of different provinces and cities and towns and whatever. So I can only speak for Toronto as a whole and my personal experience. So story time. So a couple of years ago, maybe like 5 years ago, I was just living my best life. I don't know if I was naive. Racism wasn't something that I thought much about. I guess I wasn't that woke. I didn't notice a lot of things. So to me, Canada was like the least racist place, and Toronto was like the least racist city because I felt like there are so many different people. It's diverse. Like everywhere you turn, it's like black, white, Asian, native. There's like so many different races, so many different people from so many different countries. And Toronto especially is a melting pot, as we like to say here. So I never really felt any different, or if I was different, I didn't really notice until one wonderful day, which shook me to my core. I feel like I'm always shooketh, but I was shooketh. So I went to buy gas in my car, or petrol or fuel as you may call it. And I've been going to this gas station for like years and years and years. It's by my house. So I'm used to going there. I've never had any issues, never had any problems. And on this day, it was like a summer day. I remember it clearly. I went to buy gas and I decided to pay inside, which is something I never really usually do. I usually pay at the pump, but this day I paid inside. I don't know why. Maybe I wanted to get snacks or something. Oh yes, I did want to get snacks, I remember. So I went inside to pay and I was on the line. So there was a line of maybe like 4 people or so, I can't remember. So I stepped out of line briefly. Like I was on the line, maybe about 1 or 2 people ahead of me. So I stepped out of the line briefly. Like I literally just stepped to the side to grab some chips or grab some candy or something. And as I stepped to the side to grab what I wanted to grab, the guy behind me, so there were 2 guys behind me. They were like these bald, I want to call them skinheads, but I hope that's not like a derogatory term. But there were these skinheads with tattoos all over. And I don't judge people. I don't, I didn't even do a double take. I didn't really think much about it because, you know what, live your best life if you want to be tattooed and pierced all over and whatever. They were kind of like scary looking guys, but I didn't really think much about this. I'm just here to pay for my snacks and my gas. So so like I mentioned, I stepped out of line briefly just to grab my snacks. And then the guy moved up to like block where I was standing in line. And like, honestly, I wasn't out of the line for up to 10 seconds, honestly. So I like wanted to step back and the guy was there. So it was like awkward. So I was like, oh, sorry, I was here. Which I shouldn't even have to say because like you saw me there, right? You literally saw me. And this gas station is quite small. It's not as if it's, it's not a massive place. We're talking like, this is the line, this is where the snacks are. I took a step and I was taking a step back. And then the guy stepped back. First, he kind of like paused for a few awkward seconds, and like looked at me. Like he was going to, like, it was just like this awkward looking at me. And then he stepped back and then he said, ignorant, the N-word. And in my head, I was like, so I was like, wall up. Like, what? Like, I was like, there's no way this guy just said what I think he said. So I don't know if it was the naivety in me, or I don't even know what, but I was like in that split second, I had thought of like 1,000,001 different things. And in that 1,000,001 different things, I was like, there's no way he just said this. So I was like, sorry, what did you say? And he was like, ignorant N-word. And at this point, I was like, ugh. Like, he said it again, and he said it to my face. And then I heard a voice in my head say, Shay, if this guy had the balls to say it louder and to your face, he's looking for trouble. Like, I heard a voice say that to me. And like in that split second, like once I heard that voice say that, in my mind I was like, what if this guy has like a knife or something? Like, what if this guy is out to cause a problem? I was like, you know what? In my mind, I'm like, thank you and God bless you. So I turn and I face the cashier. Like, I was looking at the cashier like, because the cashier was like an Indian guy. So I was just like looking at the cashier like, was I the only person that heard it? At this point, the people in front of me had gone. So I was looking at the cashier like, like so many things were going on in my head. Like, wait, did this actually just happen? But did the cashier hear this? But then even if the cashier heard, what do I want him to do? But the cashier didn't react. Like, he was just acting normal. And I was in a state of shock. So I paid for my gas and I paid for my snacks. And then I left. My car was in the gas station. So I got into my car. Like, I was in shock. Like, I was like a zombie. Like, I got into my car and I just sat down in my car and I was just like staring into space. Like, did this just happen? And then I called my mom. And as I was telling her what happened, I just like broke down into tears. Like, I was crying, I was wailing, I was sobbing. It was as if someone died. Like, I was shaking. And I can't really explain the feeling. It's like the direct disrespect. Not even just disrespect. Like, I felt vulnerable. I felt terrified. I felt like naked. Like, I felt like somebody just stripped me of my clothes in public. Like, I don't know how to explain it unless you've personally experienced like overt racism. Then you know what it feels like. Like, I felt ashamed. Like, I felt out of place, and I didn't feel safe anymore. And I had never had this feeling before in like all my years of living abroad. Like, I've lived in the States, I've lived in France, I've lived, and I've never had this experience before. I've never had this feeling. And it was like that guy took something from me. Like, I don't know how else to explain it. And I feel like a lot of people who haven't lived in places where they're the minority don't really get it, because I can't remember who I was telling him about the experience. I think it was my husband. I was telling him about the experience at some point later in life, and he just doesn't get it. He's just like, well, if somebody calls you the N-word, you know you're not the N-word, so why is it disturbing you? But like, it is so much deeper than that. I don't know how else to explain the feeling. So that was my racism experience. My mom was livid. I was in the car, still in the parking lot, and I was just like wailing to my mom, and my mom was livid. When I tell you she was livid, like, she said so many, like, she cursed them. I'm sure the people by now are probably dead based on my mother's curses. But my mom was so upset. But my sister was like, I yeah, my sister was like, I should have called the cops or something. I can't even remember. But then, hindsight is always 2020. When these things happen later on, you think, oh, I should have done this. People that you tell the story will be like, oh, I would have done this. Oh, I would have said this. Easier said than done when you're not in the position. And the funny thing is that I have like tout tendencies. A lot of people don't know that, but like I can really be streets, and if we want to get down, we're gonna get down. But in that moment, like I was just in shock, and I didn't know how to handle the situation. And especially because these guys looked very scary. And there were two of them, like I mentioned in the beginning, but it was the one in front that said the thing to me, and also that voice in my head that was like, sis, So, Chile. I mean, I've recovered from the experience. I tell people all the time, like when people say, "Oh, America is racist," and all this stuff. Yeah, I'm sure, but the only experience I've had in terms of racism was actually in Canada, and although one time in France, I don't know if I would call it racism or just ignorance, but one time in France, I was in a grocery store, and this guy was like saying to me in French, like, actually, okay, I let a black guy skip ahead of me in the line because I had a cart and he only had like a few items. So the guy behind me, who was like, I think he was Arab or white or whatever he was, no, he was Arab. He was saying to me in French, like, peau noire, like my skin is black and the guy's skin is black. That's why I let him go ahead of me. And I was like, what? So I was pretending like I didn't understand French. I didn't know what he was saying. And he was like, peau noire, peau noire, peau noire. I was like, okay. But he wasn't being aggressive. Like, he was kind of cracking a joke. So I don't know. I was like, is that racism? Am I offended? But I wasn't offended. Anyways, so back to that. So this is my personal experience. I haven't experienced any other form of overt racism in Canada or anywhere else. But I think after that experience, I became a bit more woke and I started to read meaning into a lot more things. If I see a certain situation, something I would have overlooked in the past, I would think, oh, okay, is it because I'm black? Even as I've moved back to Canada now, at the back of my mind, one of the things that I was thinking was like, oh, shoot, I'm going to be a minority again. Like, there's you guys in Nigeria and black people in Africa and black people that are the majority. You guys don't understand how good it feels when, like, you are just, like, it's not even a thing. Like, it's not something you have to think about. It's not something you have to consider. You are just, existing. You are just being. But I find that when I'm here, maybe it's because of that experience, I try to act accordingly. But then on the other hand, I'm just like, oh, I don't really care. Like, even when I wanted to do my hair, one of the things that crossed my mind was like, oh, I don't want to be that black girl that, has bright red hair. And the funny thing is that in my building, there are a lot of old people. And I was like, oh, I don't want to be the black girl with red hair that is scaring the old people, the old, non-black people. So I have those thoughts in my head, which is not really fun because it's kind of restricting, and I'm a free spirit. So yeah, that was my experience with racism in Canada. If you guys have had like racist experiences wherever you are, feel free to share, let me know. Leave a comment below. I don't know if I mentioned this in the beginning. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share this video if you enjoyed it. Let me know what other kinds of videos you would like to see. I've had a cough for like a week. No, like a cough and a cold for like a week and a half now. No, it's not coronavirus, so nobody should make any foolish jokes here. So anyways, guys, that is that about that. So I will see you guys later. And yeah, I will talk to you guys later. Bye.